So ESPN put out grades for the trade deadline and all the crazy things that happened during the trade deadline. Now, starting off right away, for us, I'm going to give us an A+ for the Logan Wilson trade. At the end of the day, he didn't want to be here anymore. So getting anything from him is an automatic W. I don't know what compensatory pick we would have gotten. That's also not a this year pick. That's a future year pick. But being able to get anything for Logan Wilson, who again doesn't want to be here, it's a W. Also, he's happy in the end. So shout out to Logan Wilson. You know, hopefully he does the best in Dallas. But nonetheless, for Dallas, I would probably give it a B+ because they got a guy who's a starting linebacker. He's not as good as he used to be, but he's still a startable linebacker. It put in the correct system. Our whole entire defense sucks. The Cowboys' whole defense doesn't suck. It's not really good, but it's not like as bad as ours. So I think he'll do a little bit better for that reason. Anyway, Chargers trade cornerback Taylor to the Jets. They gave him a B. Chargers get a B. We had Penning, offensive tackle, get traded to the Chargers. A 7th round pick. Now, based on what I understand from Saints fans, Saints are saying that this guy's like a walking penalty machine. But I'm pretty sure he's still like somewhat okay. Which, for a 7th round pick, I'm actually kind of surprised because the 7th round pick next year. Sorry, 6th round pick next year. Not this year. So, across the board, again, I'm not saying this guy is the best option. Obviously, the Chargers lost some guys due to injury, but you know, they're going to use him for as a starter, obviously, got injuries. But even if we would have gotten this guy as depth purposes, I wouldn't be against the idea. But then we have Joe Tyron Shonika, okay. And a 7th got traded to the Bears for a 6th round pick. Some of these trades I did not even know about, which I really am concerned about because I know about the big ones, right? But some of these I'm like, oh, okay. We got Jets trade D tackle Quinnen Williams, to the Cowboys for D tackle Mazi Smith and some picks. So they got Mazi Smith. They also got some picks here. They got a 2nd round pick and a 1st round pick next year, plus Mazi Smith. You know, we talked about many times, I wanted so badly to get Quinnen Williams. That asking price is ridiculous. I know it's not the craziest asking price, although ESPN does give them an F. There's no way to put this horrific trade for the Cowboys. Yeah, because that asking price is insane. I know Mazi Smith is kind of not a bust, but he's getting there. He's still in his rookie contract. But to give up a 1st and a 2nd plus a guy who could potentially become something, that's a lot to give up for Quinnen Williams when the rest of your team, rest of your defense is really looking bad for the Cowboys. I was thinking at best we would trade maybe Logan Wilson in a 2nd for him. No. I don't think we'd given up all that for him. And same concept with the Sauce Gardner one. So once you see some of these trades, you gotta think to yourself, like, I don't think we would have given up all that. Because I guess Logan Wilson would have been equivalent to Mazi Smith. So a 2nd and a 1st, nah. I mean, Logan Wilson in a 2nd was like my best offer, and that would not have gotten it done. Anyway, going down this list here, we have Saints trade Shaheed, that's his name, over to the Seahawks for a 4th round pick. Okay. A 4th and a 5th. I understand Seattle's point here because all they have is Jackson Smith-Njigba, and they need somebody else other than just Jackson Smith-Njigba. So I understand why they made the trade. And I kind of do understand the Saints because their season's kind of over. So you might as well just try to get draft picks and hopefully something hits at that point. They also need to figure out the quarterback situation as well. This one, though, was the craziest one, I feel like. So the Colts trade 2 first-round picks and Mitchell for Sauce Gardner. Now, the Colts are going all in, which is so weird because their quarterback's Daniel Jones, right? So it's weird to go all in with Daniel Jones because, yes, I know Daniel Jones looks really good right now, but you watch that Steelers game, especially after that Steelers game they made the trade. That Steelers game, he looked awful. They had like 3 interceptions. They had 3 fumbles. Like, it was not the sexiest look in that Steelers game. And again, could they get to the playoffs with this? Yes, they will, obviously. But how far will they go in the playoffs is the question. Sam Darnold last year, we thought, with the Vikings, holy moly, he's the guy, right? He took them all the way to the playoffs. But once he got to the playoffs, he sucked. Because these quarterbacks that are these, like, crazy one-hit guys, or, I don't say one-hit wonders, but, like, they have a really good year, they usually don't follow it up in the playoffs with a good run. I mean, you have the Nick Foles way back in the day, but outside of that, a lot of these quarterbacks who do really good in the year, they don't simply follow it up in the playoffs when they have to play the tough teams, and it's less about the team you're playing, it's more about the coach you're playing. Are you going to get out-coached? Will you not get out-coached? Can your quarterback, who came out of nowhere at this point, Daniel Jones, can he face the pressure? And so far, Daniel Jones is 1-1 in the playoffs? Yeah, he's 1-1 in the playoffs, so. I believe 1-2, actually. Right? Maybe 1-1, 1-2, but they gave the Colts a D for this and the Jets an A. Here's what I'll say about the first round picks. The Colts are going to be a playoff team, right? That's just kind of given. Because of that, this first round pick's pretty much a second round pick. This first round pick's probably going to be pick number 28, pick 29. So it's pretty much a second round pick. Now, we don't know how the Colts will do next year. That next year pick will also probably be a second round pick as well, pretty much. And when I say pretty much, again, it's a first round pick, but it's like pick 28, 29, maybe up to 32, So they're not trading for a top 20 pick is the point. Cowboys pick, first round pick, that might be a top 20 pick. Probably will be. Raiders trade Myers to the Jags. I see much really good there. So for our Logan Wilson trade, they gave the Cowboys a B- and the Bengals a B+. Okay, he says, this is something a little amusing about the Cowboys. Desperate for help on defense, turning to one of the only teams with a worse defense than their own, and trading for a linebacker on that team that got benched. That is something we did say on this channel. I did say that many times. It is very funny. Yet situation, a day after Jerry Jones said he'd make a trade and less than 12 hours later, were upset by the Cardinals on Monday Night Football. Dallas acquired Wilson for an exchange for a 7th round pick. I mean, again, I give the Cowboys a B- because at the end of the day, they give up a 7th round pick, right? Wilson's contract isn't that crazy. He's $18 million over the next 3 years. They have an out after this year if they want to take it. Most 7th round picks don't end up working out anyway. So you're not giving up really that much in the end. So for their side, I don't think it's a bad trade. And he is a starting caliber linebacker. And then for our side, I'd give us an A+ because this guy didn't want to be on our team anymore. So either we get nothing or we get a 7th. I'll take a 7th. I thought we could at least get a 6, but, it is what it is. All right. Ravens trade edge rusher Draymond Jones for a 4th overall pick, a conditional 4th. So based on what I understand, it's based on how many sacks he gets. So, I think it's if he gets more than 7 or 8 sacks, then this changes. The pick changes. So that's why it says conditional. Draymond Jones, I think the most he's ever gotten in a year was 4.5 sacks, so I'm not really concerned too much about this guy, but honestly, at this point, it's the Ratbirds who really cares. I know Owe, since being traded to the Chargers, he had 0 sacks with the Ravens this year. He got traded to the Chargers, and he has 4 sacks so far. Shout out to Owe. But Titans B+, Ravens B-. Yeah, I mean, PFF, you look at PFF grades for that guy, he freaking sucks. This is another player I really wish the Bengals went after. Jalen Phillips. I just feel like he has such a bright future to him. And it sucks that we didn't go and try to trade for him. I don't know if we would have given up a 3rd-round pick, though. I think that's a very steep asking price. But that's another guy, you know, would have been interesting. Now, I believe Jalen Phillips, I believe he's on his last year of his contract. So this is a situation where if he doesn't, like, obviously they would have to re-sign him. So giving up a 3rd-round pick for a guy in the last year of his contract would be interesting. He also has injury concerns, it looks like. So, okay. Then, excuse me. Ravens trade cornerback Alexander to the Eagles for a 7th-round pick in exchange for a 6th-round pick. So they just did a pick swap. Jets, Carter to the Eagles for John Menchie. Nice. Yeah, Jets traded. Okay. And then, what else we got? Steelers traded for Kyle Duggar. I was going to make a video about this, but I decided not to. Kyle Duggar, he's not good in coverage anymore. He's awful in coverage. He's a kind of mid-level tackler, but he's great in, like, the as a box player. And that's really what he's good at. So he's pretty much a linebacker at this point in his career. He's not really that good at safety. He can't cover to save his life. He's not the fastest guy, so I made a post about this, and I looked more into him, and I was like, I was going to make a video, but I was like, I'm not making a video about this guy because he doesn't look that good. So they got someone who's pretty good and to replace Sean Elliott, but I'm not too scared about this guy again. He's more like a box safety, if anything. Not anything crazy. Keanu White goes to the Niners. So that was also another little trade thing we had. Roger McCreary went to the Rams for a 5th-round pick. This is another guy I really, really wanted was Roger McCreary. Talked about him a while ago, actually, at this point. But the guy I really wanted, we did not get. Newsome got traded to the Jags for Campbell. So, cornerback swap. And that's pretty much it. Oh, yeah, Owe. He got traded for a 5th. And the Ravens also got... Wait. He got traded in with a 7th for this guy in the 5th. I don't know why my throat just died. Joe Flacco trade. How did they give us a C for the Joe Flacco trade? This is like actually, this is how much ESPN hates us. How is the Joe Flacco trade not an A+? I know it hasn't translated to wins, right? In all honesty, it hasn't. But going from Jake Browning to Joe Flacco is night and day. And every single week, Joe Flacco has put up crazy, insane numbers for our offense. This is just hating to hate at this point. Like, that's just hating to hate. Whatever. And then I think some of these trades are actually kind of old, to be honest. Bigsley, okay, yeah. These trades are getting, like, really old at this point. But that's also the end of the article. So, guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys in the next one.